Hi, today I'm gonna show you how to knit this dog sweater with flag on. Let's get started. Please check my description box for all the details. I'm gonna put the link for my website. You can go there and download the PDF written pattern because you need that PDF for this flag chart. All right. This flag part called INTARSIA knitting, and the little star, dot, this is duplicate stitch. There's two different way to do. The dog sweater itself, it's my basic sweater. All right, so I'm not gonna focus on the dog sweater part. I am going to focus on intarsia part, and as you can see there's a line there, right? That's because I have to knit in flat whenever intarsia knitting kicks in. Anyway, if you haven't knitted my dog sweater, the basic one, you might want to watch my basic dog sweater tutorial because I'm gonna skip all the swatch, gauge, math, and so on. Like I said, I want to focus on intarsia knitting. All right. So my cast on is 74. This time multiple of 4 because the rib I used was repeat of knit 2 and purl 2. So if you don't like the multiple of 4, you can do multiple of 2. Either way. All right. So my cast on is 74. And after the cast on, you will connect both ends. As usual, I like to use longer cable, so I'm using the magic loop technique. And then the rib starts, repeat of knit 2 and purl 2. Super easy until your desired length. I knitted it about 5.5 inch, almost 6 inch, because I kind of want to fold it this time, kind of longer neck. So it's really up to you. If you like the shorter rib, that's okay with me too. Anyway, after the rib, you're going to have one setup row. Like I said, I knitted it about 5.5 inches. There you go. So I can fold it in half. Anyway, setup row is easy. You need some marker. I put the beginning marker right there and knit 1, and then place the marker and knit another 1. There we go. And then place the marker. In between those orange and blue marker, that's gonna be mid stitch. That would be the center of your dog's chest. Here comes, this is my old sweater. My dog's old sweater. That's the part. All right. So knit 1 round and increase kicks in. Increase in row number 1, knit until the first marker and make 1 right. Using the running thread, hook onto left needle and knit right there. And slide the marker, knit mid stitch. Mid stitch has to be 1 stitch always, and then after that make 1 left to increase. That's about it. And rest of the stitches you just have to knit 1 round, and row number 2 should be all knit, and repeat increasing row number 1 and row number 2 until you hit top of your dog legs. And you have to finish on increasing row number 2, which is all knit. All right, so next I meet you at leash opening. And this leash opening technique called 2 rows buttonhole. So you will ended up use this method for leg opening as well. Anyway, whenever you're ready for leash opening, put the marker. You have to count from the mid stitch evenly, not the begin marker, okay? The mid stitch is the center of dog's front, right? So that's why you have to count from the mid stitch. And I took 13 stitches for leash opening. You know, bigger is better, but if it's too big, it's no good. So it's really up to you. So I took the 13 stitches, add markers, and then I am going to knit around until the first marker. And here comes. This is super easy. The leash opening first row, just bind off. So I said 13 stitch, so I am going to bind off 13 stitch. And 2 rows buttonhole technique, whenever you bind off, you should bind off kind of tightly. Here comes. This is second row of the leash opening. Easy. Whenever you, there you go, hit no more stitch, just like that, you just add new cast. How many? The number you bind off. So I bind off 13 stitches, so I am going to add 13 new cast. That's about it. And after that, just keep knitting, you know, just like, you know, nothing happened. That's about it. So again, this 2 rows buttonhole technique you will have to use for leg opening as well. There you go. I just finished the adding new cast. There you go. And now I want to talk about the leg opening, but you have to meet the length, you know, reach top of the, you know, dog's front legs, right? And it has to be on row number 2. I mean, you know, after row number 2. So supposed to be row number 1. However, I'm not going to increase anymore. All right. So I add the markers, right side and left side. Again, I count evenly from mid stitch. And now the right side of the leg, in between leg opening, there's the begin marker. So I am going to start with left legs, the orange marker. All right. And then whenever come back, I will do the green marker. Again, if this tutorial is too fast to understand, please go to my basic dog sweater tutorial. All right? Because everybody should know how to knit my basic dog sweater. Here we go. So here comes, this is the left side of the dog's leg. Bind off. This is the leg opening, you know, the row number 1, right? So binding off here. And after you bind off for left leg, just knit around to right leg, which is green marker, right? And then bind off for the right leg as well. Then knit until where the stitch disappear, which is left leg, right? And I actually keep mid stitch marker because it's easier for me to count. I have to count evenly from mid stitch sometimes, so I keep them there still. And there we go, no more stitch. So I guess I bind off 13 for leg as well, so I'm adding 13 stitches, 13 cast. And then knit around again until the other side of the legs and do the same thing. And after the legs, knit few rows and then meet you there. However, the flag size is 26 rows and 30 stitches across, which means after the leg opening, you have to knit at least 26 rows for back piece and front piece. And the back stitch count should be more than 30. All right, so I add markers. Again, count from mid stitch and put 2 markers, which is green marker, and in between green marker, 30 stitch. And the orange marker, that's the center. Cut in half, 15 and 15, total of 13. And this one is 15 and 16. It doesn't really matter if you want to, make it a little bit bigger or make it a little bit smaller. It's up to you. However, the rows are same, 26 rows. So 26 rows and 30 or 31, 2 stitches are the ideal numbers. All right? Now you have to prepare some colors of yarn, and if you have these type of the yarn bobbins, that'll be great, because I want just a little bit of yarn like this. I don't want to attach whole ball of yarn. So if you don't have it, you can maybe use the the cardboard or whatever, because you will notice, if you attach the big ball of yarn, it's gonna be so crazy. The intarsia knitting with multiple of colors, you need to have big patience. All right, so the smaller yarn, the ball of yarn would be better. Anyway, let me talk about the difference. 3 threaders I have. They're all different. The red one in the center, this is Fair Isle. 2 or more color of yarn you will use, and then you always knit in round or flat, either way, but carry the yarn always till the end, which is beginning, all the way around. You can actually do in round or in flat, but always come back to the begin marker. This is fair isle, and this is duplicate stitch technique. It's pretty much cross stitch type. Super easy. You can do this with INTARSIA, but to me, it was too many times you have to change the color of yarn. So pink, green, purple, and green. So every time you have to change if you're using INTARSIA, and the front piece, there's no yarn carry on, right? So this one, either INTARSIA or duplicate. However, I choose duplicate. So the back of the duplicate is like that. The yarn is not carrying. And this one, as you can see, this is the back side of the fair isle. You can tell the difference. And this is INTARSIA. You have to change the ball of yarn every time. One time there, and change to navy blue, and change to red or white, and then change to main color. 1, right? Change 2 and 3. You cannot carry the main yarn, because if I carry the main yarn until the other side, you have to attach another new ball of yarn for main color, like this, coming this way, and here you attach, and then if you go around, there you go, there's no ball of yarn attached there. So you have to change every time. And this is the back side. And whenever you change the color of yarn, you have to do a little trick. That's about it. You know, that's the only thing you have to do. And let's move on now. By the way, I'm knitting from top to down. So the chart, you have to kind of read upside down. Row number 1, always knit. And then row number 2, always purl. Because now I have to knit in flat. All right? So I knit with gray. Main gray, I should say. There we go. And remove, because I don't need the marker anymore. So navy blue kicks in, right? I'm going to show you a bad example. Just start knitting with blue yarn, just like that. Which means there's no connection between gray and blue yarn. So there's a gap, hole, which is no good. So every time you change the color, you have to do little trick, which is actually quite simple. However, you have to watch. This is new yarn attach. So just knit 1 stitch with navy blue, then hold the needle like that, and navy blue yarn go underneath of gray yarn like that. Twist it. Make sure it's twisted. So there's no more gap between gray and navy blue. And make it tight. Then start knitting with navy blue. That's about it. So now I attached blue yarn. And this little, loose stitch, you just pull. After you knit, few stitch with new color. Make it tight. All right. So I left main gray number 1 yarn there, right? And start knitting with navy blue. 15 stitch with navy blue, which is until orange marker. Here comes. So remove the orange marker. I don't need it anymore because the American flag is easy to, know the difference, It's not complicated design. So now it's red. So again, this is new yarn attached. So 1 stitch you have to knit just a regular way. Don't even think about the navy blue. Okay? Just, well, there we go. Before I knit, I twist the yarn. Yeah, you can do that, but I shouldn't have done that. I should knit first. That's right. And then twist it. There we go. Take your time. This is very important part. And knit with red. And if it's loose, the navy blue, that one, just pull after you knit few stitches with new color. So now I leave navy blue there in the middle, right? And then now I start knitting with red until next green marker. Just take your time. And after the red color, you gotta go back to gray main color, right? However, your main color, gray, is right over there. I left it there. You're not gonna carry. No way, because 30 stitches. There you go. So you need to have gray number 2. So smaller, ball of yarn. So I need 3 small portion. Well, actually 4 because white is coming soon. And then main gray. There you go. So knit with gray number 2. I just knit 1 and hold it like that with the left thumb. And then go underneath the new color. Always go underneath of previous color like that. There we go. Twist it, make sure. There we go. Twist it. And forget about the red. Even if it's loose, you have to pull later on anyway. And then I use actually end tail as well to knit. But you don't have to if you don't want to. There we go. And then start knitting with gray and loose red. You just pull the working yarn there. And I leave red yarn there. Okay, please remember. And knit until the beginning marker. Okay, so here comes the biggie marker. I just finished. Okay, now I cannot keep knitting until the other side because the other side I already have main gray one over there. So if I knit with gray number 2 until the other side, now when you come back the end of the flag, there's no more gray, so you have to attach another new one again, and you don't want to do that. So unfortunately, well, fortunately, I don't know, you have to turn the work, and now you have to knit in flat, which means, yeah, unfortunately, I have to do a little bit sewing the end of the sweater, like here. I actually turn around the mid stitch with this, sample sweater, but I decide I am going to, flip on biggie marker. And so here comes, I just finished there and knit over there, and then now coming back, then there's a red one there, the red yarn there, right? So knitting back, and now using the navy blue and coming back. So if you want to adjust the size of the flag, you have to think about this. The rows has to be go and coming back, which means has to be even rows. So if you want to adjust the size of the flag, you have to be very careful. Always go and back. So if you want to have the wider, the stripes, the red and white, you can go 4 rows instead of 2 rows. But you can't do 3 rows. You know what I'm saying? Because when you go back or coming back, there's no yarn waiting. You know what I'm saying? So you have to attach another new ball of yarn. So it's going to be crazy. Anyway, so now I turn around and using the gray yarn number 2, which I just finished knitting on the right side, right? And then now I'm going back, which is purl side. So I'm making purl, as you know. So there we go. Finish the last stitch with this one. Last stitch with gray. And as you can see, can you see? The red yarn is kind of connected, twisted. So when you pull, there's no gap. You know what I'm saying? So now I'm going to use red yarn. So the new color of yarn always go underneath of previous color of yarn. So go like that. So another word, gray on top of the red, and you grab the red yarn underneath of the gray yarn. This is the most toughest part because the yarn all tangle. I hate it. That's why I said you need to have a lot of patience, and you don't want to attach big ball of yarn. Think about it, 4 or 5, the ball of yarn, the bigger one attached, it's hard. Anyway, so now it's connected. So just start making purl with red. I put the red yarn underneath of the gray one. So it's again twisted, so no opening gap. there. So don't worry about it. So every time, it's not just that when you attach the new ball of yarn, you have to do this trick. No, you have to do every time. Every time you change the color, you have to do it. The new color goes underneath of the previous color. That's it. That's all you have to remember. And super easy. The toughest part is untangle all the, small ball of yarn. That's it. So now I'm done with red, and the new yarn will be navy blue. So navy blue go underneath of red yarn. Put it out there and make sure the red one is top of the navy blue, and grab, make sure about it, and start making purl. That's it. And now you have to make a purl with the navy blue until wherever, the last navy blue stitch is, right? And I just pull the red one, yarn, and make sure it's, secure and nice and tight. There you go. So next gray yarn should be gray yarn number 1, right? The main gray ball of yarn. This is the big one. There we go. So simple. I'm gonna grab the either gray or navy blue. If I grab the navy blue has to go on top of the gray. If I grab the gray yarn, has to go underneath. See, this is the big one, right? So go underneath, either way. There we go. Yeah. Grab the smaller ball of yarn and maneuver this and that way. That'll be easier. This is the reason why I don't want to hang all the bigger, ball of yarn. So using this, type of a bobbin, or you make your own bobbin with the cardboard, that's up to you. And there we go. And use that gray number 1. Then knit until where? The begin marker. All right. And then after you hit the begin marker, just turn around. Well, I haven't actually hit the begin marker just to make sure everything is nice and tight, and not really. So if you want to, pull the yarn, don't wait, too late. If you need few rows, it's gonna be harder to fix, right? Anyway, knit until the begin marker, and this is, second row, right? So now you have to turn around and back to knitting side, and then using that yarn, the gray main one, number 1, and knit until the navy blue starts. And that begin marker, there's a gap now. You just saw. Don't worry about it. It won't connect there. You have to sew later. Look at that, all tangled. If you don't want to untangle now, you don't have to. You can do it later. But if it's too much, maybe you should. And after this, pretty much same. New color kicks in, the white one, right? So I'm gonna show you a little bit more. Okay, and here comes, this is row number 3. Still navy blue, of course. So navy blue go underneath of the gray and come around and then start knitting until the end of the navy blue, which is 15 stitches. And pull the gray yarn to make sure it's tight enough. And row number 3, under the red, white one starts. So you know how to do, right? Almost done. There we go. There we go. Here it comes. So remember, knit 1 with new color, which is white, and red one is quite loose. Don't worry about it. And then white yarn go underneath navy blue, but I go underneath with red one too. Red and navy blue. The white go underneath red and navy blue. Then start knitting. As long as white one go underneath of the navy blue, that's fine. I just want to make sure about that. You know, with the red one. There we go. And kind of pull the navy blue and red everywhere. Make sure. And after that, all same. Knit with the white yarn until where the red ends, and leave the white yarn there and start knitting with gray number 2 until the other side of the biggie marker. Here comes. So the gray number 2 is already attached, so just gray one go underneath of white one. Oh my goodness, all tangle. There we go. Make sure about it. Yes. Good. This is actually quite hard because I'm knitting underneath of the camera, right? There we go. Good. So now I attached every colors I need. And after that, you just have to knit all the way. And it will meet you after navy blue is done. Anyway, this is just, turn around and row number 4 I'm showing you. Now, change to white yarn from gray number 2. There we go. Go underneath, the white one go underneath of the gray yarn and start making purl. Again, wrong side has to be purl. You are knitting in flat. and take your time. You don't have to knit so fast. Make sure it's all connected and no gap at all when you have to change the color. I'm right there now. Okay, so I meet you underneath of the navy. All right, here comes. This is end of navy blue, and this side. Now I have to use white one all the way from the flag starts, right? So whenever I finish with the white and red right there, I cut the yarn because I don't want to carry the 15 stitch over, right? And I don't want to keep them if I'm not going to use. You know what I'm saying? So I cut it. I feel so good when I cut the, the ball of yarn because it's light, less headache, right? And then attach new yarn again. So knit one stitch and go underneath. So now I don't have red yarn attached because I cut it, right? So I think that's about it. That's all I have to tell you about this INTARSIA knitting. And after this, follow my, chart. You already know what to do, how to do, right? And after the flag, I have to finish the main dog sweater, and then finish with the duplicate stitch to, make the star part, which in the navy blue. Anyway, right here, I changed the color to gray from white one. I'm on the right side, which means I'm doing odd number of row, right? So after this, I meet you at the end of the flag. And let's finish the dog sweater. Well, it is easy, isn't it? That's why I was wondering, should I make a video or not? But, I did anyway. So I finished the flag, and you can actually weave the ends off. I did. I really hate this job, weave the ends off. But you have to do it with this, INTARSIA knitting, right? And cut it. Now, you have to connect again. Okay, so here comes. Put the begin marker, and you're on knitting side, right? You have to connect on knit side because now we're going to knit in round again. So knit until the end. And whenever you knit until the end, you just keep knitting. No more turn around. There you go. Slide the marker and knitting. There's no stitch count difference because I didn't decrease, I didn't add, so same as before. And the difference is that big gap, unfortunately, but you have to sew later that tummy part. That's about it. So you knit until your desired length for front piece, because front piece should be shorter. And whenever you hit the desired length, add 2 markers anywhere you want. Always count from the mid stitch. That's for tummy, right? And just knit across to second tummy marker. And now I don't have to count anymore from mid stitch, so I can remove the mid stitch because it's almost end, right? And knit till the other side of the tummy marker. And you need stitch holder or scrap yarn. I'm not going to knit anymore for tummy until you reconnect, because I want to get the back side a little bit longer. So I am going to knit back piece. So in other words, you have to knit back and forth. Anyway, after you knit tummy, transfer all the tummy stitches onto stitch holder or scrap yarn until the other side of the marker. All right? You don't need biggie marker either, so you can get rid of it. And there we go. So I'm on right side, right? So the first stitch on the left needle, I already knit before I transfer tummy stitch. So put that stitch back on the right needle and SSK. Knit 1 and then SSK. And knit all the way down to last 3 stitch because I want to make little carve at both sides. And this is the other side of the back piece. Knit until last 3 stitch and knit 2 together. And decrease in row number 2 or purl. So you just have to repeat row number 1 and row number 2 until your desired length for your back piece. Again, the decreasing row number 1, knit 1, SSK, knit until last 3, and knit 2 together, then knit 1. And this would be my last decreasing row. I repeat few times, and now I would like to reconnect everything. I knit enough, so you're right on the side, right? So I am going to knit up stitches. And one thing I have to tell you, both sides you should knit up same stitch number. Also, I use repeat of knit 2 and purl 2 for rib, which means whole stitch count has to be multiple of 4. So you kind of have to think about that. And if you need to adjust, you have to adjust. which means the both side knit up. It doesn't have to be same stitch count. 1 or 2 stitch count difference, no problem. Anyway, after you reconnect, add new begin marker, and then start making rib, which is repeat of knit 2 and purl 2 until your desired length, and cast off, bind off with one size bigger needle, which will be stretchy bind off. All right, then let's talk about sewing and duplicate stitch. Sewing part is easy. Just turn the work inside out and sew them together. You can do that. This is what I did. But I decide I'm going to do right side. Just like, duplicate stitch, which is from the bottom inside, the thread comes out, and I'm sorry, this is actually bad video. You can't really see. Anyway, top of the at the bottom, well, you kind of have to see, but this is really bad clip. Just like, ladder stitch, go across and then coming back the bottom of the stitch where you coming out. Okay, this is the bottom, right? And one a barb, you go across and then go back to where you kind of coming out, and you just do same thing. This is actually similar to duplicate stitch. That's why, I wanted to show you, but, I did, bad job. I'm sorry. And let's talk about the duplicate stitch. I used double thread because the single thread didn't show much. I mean, perfectly. So I used the double thread. Anyway, so wherever you want to add, V stitch, at the bottom of the V stitch, you have to put needle come out from inside. So right there, this is the stitch I want to do duplicate stitch. So the bottom of the V, you have to put the needle from the inside like that, and skip this target stitch, which is this one. This is my target stitch, right? So skip that and go above, the one above. You put the needle like that and pull. So this creates your right side of the V, right? And then put the needle back on the bottom of the V where you came out. This creates left side of the V. There we go. There you go. That's about it. So you come out from the bottom of the target V. There you go, like that, which means this is the target V, the bottom, right? So skip that target, this one, target V, and one above. Put the needle from right to left, because I'm right-handed. You can do from left to right if you want, and creates the right side of the V, and then go back where you came from. And then now I am going to come out from the bottom of the target stitch. There we go. And do the same thing. Skip the target stitch, one above, right to left. That's about it. And you can actually do any way you like. And then I go the other stitch. There we go. This is it. Super easy. So if you want to make other countries, the flag, the USA flag is so easy to do INTARSIA. But, if it's little complicated design, maybe that complicate area, you should use this duplicate stitch, because that'll be easier. If it's very simple flag, just the, stripes or border, that's it. You don't really have to worry about anything, right? But this type of, thing, you don't want to knit star on the navy blue, right? So this is good enough, I believe. Anyway, that's about it. I didn't really have to show you, teach you anything new, just a little trick. But that's important. And some other time, I may try other countries' flag, hopefully. Anyway, this is it. And here and there, I kind of want to fix a little bit, better way. And next time, maybe I will talk about it, This is the back piece, nice and clean edge, and it's all connected, no gap at all. That's perfect. There we go. Anyway, please remember the flag size is 26 rows and 30 stitches across. If you're knitting much smaller sweater, you might have to adjust the flag size. Anyway, thank you for watching. Enjoy knitting. Bye for now.